Hey, what's up? It's Jackal. Thank you for joining me on the Eli Frequency Podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world right at this moment, but you chose to take your time and spend it with me, and this is something I'm grateful for. So, as not to waste it, let's get to it. What are we talking about? Why do men cheat? As if there's one universal answer to this question, right? I've been asked this a lot by women I used to date, and more so by the friends of women I used to date. I think I've been asked this question by of the friend of the a lot of friends of the women that I've dated in the past. And they wanted to know, and I always had insight and would give them my take on things. I've been around a long time. I've been through a lot in my life, and relationships is one of them. And being the other guy is one of them. You know, there's something about being the other guy, not the main guy, that is refreshing because the other guy, and I can talk about this more on a different podcast, but the other guy, he gets to know everything. So it's great when you're the other guy, right? The guy that you're cheating with, the guy that the woman is cheating with. It's absolutely great to be that guy. And I don't mean in a moral view or values view perspective. I mean with regard to, if you're going to be anyone in the situation, from my standpoint, you want to be the other guy, right? So the guy that's being cheated with. And you want to be that guy because that's the guy, that's the person that knows everything about what's going on. He knows why you're unhappy with your man. And I'm talking about him as in the case of the woman being unfaithful. But the other guy, he knows everything. He knows why you're not happy. He knows what you need to be happy. He knows what to do with you, the things you like being done to you. He knows when your man's coming home, when your man gets home. He knows what time you get off work. He knows what your man expects, or when your man expects you to be home. He knows what interests you. But he knows these things because he only has to have a limited capacity of knowledge, right? If you're the man that's in the relationship, you have to know almost everything. So some things get lost in the wind, some things get put on the back burner because you're really concerned about your woman's happiness. And sometimes that means making sure I'm taking care of home, making sure I'm taking care of the house as a structure, not as in the relationship. Literally, the house, things that you're not thinking about, the gutters, the hole in the wall, the noise coming from the furnace, the breeze that's coming in. How is that coming in? What do I have to do to fix that? So the main guy, he has to know a lot, and some of these things the women don't even care about. Women don't generally care about the gutters and what's going on with the gutters. She might not have known before she came home that you had to be on the roof cleaning out the gutters because the ice was congested in there because of the winter time, and the leaves were frozen, and now the gutters are really heavy, and there's a potential of them falling down, maybe falling through the window, breaking the window. And it's some things that, I mean, you're not gonna bring that up because it's not a flex. It's just something that you think about that has to be done, that the women don't think about. Just like, generally speaking, a woman thinks about the food that she has to make, what's going to be for dinner, if she has to stop by the grocery store before she comes home. things that typically a man is not thinking about. So I heard somebody say that there are roles in relationships, and I believe in that. And when you think about roles in relationship, some people, some women don't like to hear that. Um, they think that it means that they're less than. But no, in a relationship, we are not equal as people. There are variations to men and there are variations to women, right? But we are equal as partners, right? So there's a difference. Per for instance, I've never been with a woman who can do as many or more push-ups than me, right? No matter how much they worked out, no matter how fit and toned and in shape they are, they could never match me in push-ups. Simple, right? So we're not equal in that capacity. But with regard to my expectations of her and her expectations of me within a relationship, we are definitely equal, right? So I'm just talking about physical attributes. There's not equality, there are differences. I will never be able to nurture a child the way a woman can. It's physically impossible for me to be as nurturing as a woman. If a woman has a child and we're talking about nurturing the child, yeah, I can hold it, I can cuddle it and talk to him or her, talk to it. I'll say it. I can talk to it. I can do all the things, but when it comes to sustaining life, like feeding the child and not having to go into the refrigerator, not having to go to the store, I can't do it. A woman can do that. We're not equal in that capacity. And I have to accept that. There's nothing to be upset about or jealous about. We are not equal with capacity, with regard, I'm sorry, with regard to what we're physically able to do, but we are equal as in partners in a relationship, as in trying to build something together. Now, I say all that to come back around to the point of why do men cheat? And it's some men out there screaming right now, you can't say every man, you can't say every man. And it's some women out there saying right now, no, 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 no. Some men. My man don't cheat. My man ain't even involved with that. And I'm saying, yes, your man. You. Yep. You the one saying not my man. You, yeah. Your man's the worst one. Now, of course, we're speaking in generalities because there's no such thing as all people do a thing except for die, right? Um, I was going to say live and die, but you know, we have stillbirths and things like that. So all things die. Okay. So I'm speaking in generalities. And, just to be clear, I will give you some terms that, and I'll give you some points about demographics and psychological drivers and data from the GSS, which is the General Social Survey, and information from the Institute for Family Studies, IFS. So here are some percentages before I just get into my experience, like life experience. So the gender gap is widening, right? So overall, the rates show men cheat more, but the data changes significantly depending on the age group. For instance, approximately 20% of married men admit to cheating compared to 13% of married women. Now, you have to take in consideration that women do not like to admit to this type of stuff. I don't even care if it's to a therapist. Women do not like to admit to an affair or not being faithful. So you may have more men reporting that, they have been or are being unfaithful than women. So we have the younger generation, right? The youth. So among married adults ages 18 to 29, women are actually slightly more likely to cheat than men at 11% than to men's 10%. Say that's not even that's in within the regard of era, but those are the stats. Those are the statistics. 11% to 10%. And I mean, you say that's within the margin of error. Okay, cool. It's still what it is, though. So the peak years, the gap reverses and widens as men's infidelity ages 70 to 79, men and women. And men are at 26%, while women rates peak in their 60s at 16% and then declines. Now, with these statistics, I don't know how many men are having sex at, you know, 79 years old, but apparently there are, right? So I think regarding those statistics that they're talking about just having affairs that don't have to be physical. You know what I mean? Because older men they like being seen with younger women, and just how younger women pay attention to them because they're old men. Like your niece taking care of you as an old man, or your grandchild taking care of you as an old man. But the older men just seem to be attracted to younger women, even though they may not physically be able to do things with them. And when I say younger women, we're not talking about like Epstein and Trump and all that. We're talking younger women like 50 or 40, while the men are 60 or 70. Okay, so the peak years, the gap reverses and widens, like I said, between 70 and 79. So a lot of people say that if you're happy in your relationship, then you won't cheat. That's a falsehood. That's not true. I mean, it's a common misconception that men only cheat in bad marriages. It's not true. The stats say 56% of men who have affairs rate their marriages as happy or very happy, compared to only 34% of women who say the same. So, reasons why. So, men often cheat to stay in a relationship. So, what I mean is, men aren't statistically cheating because they want to move on and have a different relationship. They're cheating because they're seeking validation or variety to supplement what they have. Whereas women are more likely to cheat to leave a relationship that's no longer nourishing or fulfilling their needs. So that's part of it right there. Men aren't looking to leave the relationship. And I know, though it might sound crazy to hear that, where if you're cheating, you're definitely expecting that the relationship's going to be over. But it's not what men are thinking. Men aren't trying to leave their relationships when they cheat, for the most part. So the psychological research in a 2024 study in evolution and human behavior identifies three dominant conscious motivations for men. And those would be, one is relationship dissatisfaction would be at 30%, feeling unvalued, unappreciated, or lacking emotional reciprocity. The second is physical attractiveness, which is at 16%. It says men are nearly 3% more likely than women to cite the physical attractiveness of the affair partner as their primary motivation. So men are more by sight. Man, she hot, she fine as hell. That means they would like to move towards a sexual relationship with that person. If you hear a man saying, "Man, she fine as hell," he's already thought about the physical relation, the physical interaction, that possibilities that they may have. And the third one is unfulfilled desires at 14%. So seeking sexual variety or specific experiences their partners cannot or will not fulfill. So if there are things that your partner just doesn't do, let's say oral sex or gratification, right? Your woman does not do that. And that was your thing before you met her. You really championed for a woman to, do that with you. But this woman was so great that you overlooked that. That wasn't something that you valued because she had all these other attributes that were more important, right? The the willingness to have children, the financial stability that matched yours, or that you sought after. Although men at a large percent don't look to women for that reason. That may have been one of his reasons, because he wanted to be financially stable, or the woman cooked. She was a good cook and she loved to cook, so that supersedes, the oral copulation that you would be lacking. So that's great for 4 or 5 years until it's not, until a man starts to talk to a woman who's in a friend group or his homies or whatever, and they're talking about their experiences and how great it's going, and then it starts to become something he thinks about. So, unfulfilled desires. It can become a major issue. It can become a thing. The digital opportunities now. And so, how technology has lowered the barriers to entry into infidelity. Because let me give you the facts. A lot of your men, your men, a lot of your men aren't cheating because they aren't selected. Just gonna give it to you straight. Your man is not a selected man. Your man is not a man of value to other women, I'm saying. To you, he may be great. He may be all that in a bag of chips, right? But he's not selected. He's not a man of value, of high value to women. Like, that could mean attraction. Like, he's not 6'2". So, women love men who are tall. He's not dark. His skin isn't, he doesn't have the right complexion. He's too white, or, he doesn't have the physical attributes. He's not in shape. He don't have swag. You know what I'm saying? He don't got no swag. That's a problem. If your man is swagless, no one, he's not sought after. Maybe he don't got the deep voice that you may value. He doesn't make you feel that certain something when he's talking to you. Your woman can be around a coworker all day, every day, and he has that voice, and it just does something to her. And you don't have that. You understand? But you're lacking something that makes you a selected man. Now, you don't have a job that puts you in an environment where women are selecting you, or where you're being sought out or sought after. If a man is working from home, he doesn't have an opportunity to cheat. So he's not thinking about cheating for the most part. But if a man works in an office and it's all these women around the office, okay, now there's a higher opportunity for him to cheat. He's 6 foot, whatever. Okay, that's more of a likelihood that he's going to be sought after. He got that nice dark or tan skin. Okay, he's moving up the chart, right? He got a nice little build on him, wear a nice little suit or whatever. And he got that swag when he walked through the door. heads are turning. They're going to be secretaries, they're going to be managers, smiling at them, saying, here are your files, Mr. So and so. That's opportunity. And a man going into the office getting that feel every day from these high value women, you know, it's just hard to continue to turn that down. I mean, it's fun at first turning it down and, being upstanding, but that just makes you more attractive. You got the ring on your finger, you know, you're not giving any second glances at these women. That just makes you more attractive. I want a man like that. He's solid and he don't be tripping on none of these women that's trying to get at him. Oh yeah, I need that for myself. That's what a lot of women be thinking. Oh, that's what I need right there. And you working in that same job for 3 years? Come on. That's more your family than your family at home. You seeing them 8, 9 hours a day. You get home before or after your woman, she cooking, you downstairs, getting your reps in or whatever, doing your podcast, you know. Not me, but I'm just saying, doing a podcast, or you home doing whatever you do. Dinner's ready. Y'all come together. Y'all have dinner, an hour, watch an hour of TV. That's 2 hours, right? Third hour, y'all might be, what I'm saying, getting intimate, getting romantic. Boom. Y'all, it's 9, 10 o'clock now. Y'all going to bed. Waking up tomorrow, spending 8, 9 more hours with all those other women who are attracted to you because you are a man of value, highly selected. That's going to cause a problem eventually. Now, the men who are not selected or who don't work in an environment where that opportunity exists, what is there now? There's the digital opportunities, what's called micro cheating. So technology, between 18 and 25% of Tinder users are reportedly in a committed relationship while using the app. So the ease of access has just been granted to those who are not even selected. Because now you can be whatever you want to be. So it's not physical appearance and natural attraction. Because on the internet, you can be whatever you want to be. So the ease of access found that 1 in 10 married adults under 40 still use dating apps on the side. Again, that makes the access easier. So those are the statistics of the situation, right? If you want to know now what I think through my experience, I think there are 4 reasons men cheat. And some of them coincide with the things I've just spoke about, right? I think the 4 reasons that men cheat, and they're not in this specific order, but so the desire to feel needed. Every man, like I said, generalities, right? But I think this is true. Every man, I can say every woman, every person has a need to feel desired. But men, more specifically, have a need, a desire to feel needed. It's what makes us tick. If your woman used to say to you all the time, "Oh, I'm so lucky to have you. What would I do without you? Baby, you so good at that. How do you know how to do that? How could you teach me that?" That makes a man feel like Superman. And if you so used to your man being Superman, he ain't really Superman no more. You understand what I'm saying? That's just what he do. That's regular. It's not regular. All these other men ain't doing that. It's not regular. He's still Superman. But you're not looking at it through those same set of lenses that you were looking at it when you met him. It's just like a job, right? You can be really good at your job, and they can give you more on top of that, on top of your regular job, and you just knock it out the park, right? They're not going to come to you and say, I'm so glad you're doing all this stuff. They said that the first time they gave you something extra and you just knocked it out. But now when they get something extra, they say, oh, just give it to Nate. He can do it. He like doing that kind of extra stuff. Nah, Nate don't like doing the extra stuff. Nate just can do it. He has capacity. But Nate likes the recognition of knowing he can do the extra stuff. But if you stop saying, hey, thank you, I appreciate you, I admire that you can take all of this on, it becomes an expectation. So the guy doesn't want to do the extras anymore, or he's not appreciated for it. And so he doesn't feel like a superhero anymore. So now there are all these women at the office who are giving him kudos for fixing the fax machine, or fax machine. Look how far I'm dating myself. But for reconnecting the internet service, for all the things that he does within the office that aren't part of his job, but you're lucky he's there, and he's being told, oh man, we lucky to have you. We would have been waiting on IT to come for 2 hours. And you start to feel that desire being fulfilled, that you're needed. Now all these women look up to you as you're a hero. That's all you ever wanted, was to be a hero. That's all every little boy wanted to do, was be his dad. His dad was the hero because his dad was taking care of him. His dad was taking care of the family. His dad was taking care of the household. He's a hero. So now you're the hero. But then you go back home after being a hero all day and you're regular. You're Clark Kent. And then now when you do something that you think you're going to get the accolade or just the kiss, that means everything to a man from his woman. Just the kiss on the forehead. Baby, you did that. But you're just Clark Kent at home. After you do that thing, it's regular. So the desire to feel needed. Number 2, ego. Ego. The need to conquer. Why do you think men are so into sports? You know why? Because sports is a competition. There are winners and there are losers. You know who came up with this participation points? Women. Because they like everything to be equal. Everybody to feel good. Everybody to win something. Men, I want to show you that I'm better than you. I can tolerate more than you. We compete. Mano y mano. So it's more subconscious though. For men to say, I've been with all these beautiful women, means something. But for women to say, I've been with all these hot guys, like that don't mean a lot to them. Like to say that to their friends. I've had a string of, I've been like with a string of hot guys. It's like, so big deal. But for a man, back in my day, in my friend group, people can tell you that I've had beautiful women ever since I started dating. There's something that feels good about that. Like even just to say that. You know why? Because for some reason, a lot of men, that validates them. Knowing that all these beautiful women who can have any man they want, they're choosing you. That's validation. And to have a lot of them to pull from. You don't got to be with them no more. You can look back and be like, yeah. When other guys like, damn, she hot, man, she cold. You can be like, yeah, that's my ex. Or yeah, me and her used to have a thing. Other guys will go, what? For real? Damn. And it's that good feeling. It makes you feel good. Like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm good, And that's a thing though, it's a thing. It's your ego. It's your ego. But that aligns with number one, your desire to feel needed. And not only the desire to feel needed, the desire to feel needed, but what we all consider a highly valued woman, right? A woman that can have her choice of men and she choose you. So that desire to feel needed just skyrockets at that point. She's a sought after woman and she's looking for you. So that boosts your ego and it satisfies your desire to feel needed. Number three is excitement or boredom. You can go through the repetition of daily living as I've described earlier, going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. And it gets monotonous, right? Your life is just passing you by. Sometimes you just start to feel that way. And the boredom sets in and you say, I love my wife. I love my life. I don't feel like I'm a participant though. I feel like life is just passing me by. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along and just gives you that conversation because they may be feeling the same way at home. And next thing you know, you guys are conversating, having great communication. You're laughing now. Now you look forward to going to work to see that person again because y'all have a good relationship, just because you finally getting to laugh throughout your day. You used to go to lunch by yourself. Now, hey, you want to go to lunch? Yeah. Let's go to lunch. So y'all walking to lunch and it's normal at first. It's just regular, but it's the part of your day that you start to look forward to because it's the part of your day where you're just not thinking about yourself. You're getting to laugh at somebody else's story. Somebody's listening to your stories and wanting to hear your stories, and there's no pressure on it. So that boredom is alleviated now in those moments. So you look forward to those moments. Nothing nefarious, just looking forward to being excited the next day. Then you start thinking about those moments when you're not in those moments. You start thinking about them later in the day when you're by yourself just sitting there. You start thinking of the funny things that you all said to each other or the funny gifs that you sent back and forth, the funny comment she made, the funny comment he made. And then the next day you tell him that. I was at home last night. We was watching TV and I don't know, I was thinking about what you said yesterday and I just started cracking up out of nowhere. Oh, that's so funny. I did the exact same thing. It's innocent, but it's not. Human behavior says, I have to engage more. I have to get more of this now. And the number four for men is the need to be physical without the emotional baggage. I think for men, that's a big deal. I think a lot of women will never be able to understand that or relate to it. Some women nowadays definitely understand and relate, but I think a lot of women will never be able to relate or understand that because the first thing they ask if you're caught cheating or something is, first thing a man says is, I didn't care about it. It was just sex. And the woman is like, what? Just sex? That means you care about her. Because for women, that's largely the truth. If a woman engages in a physical activity with a man, sexual, it's because they have gotten to the point where they have an emotional connection, an emotional bond has taken place. For a man, it's absent of that until later. A man can get that. Obviously, he wouldn't be married if he can't, but a man can get that at a later point. But in the beginning, he can definitely have a physical, sexual relationship absent of emotions. It's the fun, it's the excitement, it's the secrecy, it's the feeling of the desire, it's the ego, it's everything except the emotion. Now, I grant you Those are emotions. Excitement, the feel of being needed. Those are all emotions. But I'm not talking about emotions on that same level. I'm talking about the emotions that say, I care for this person. I cannot be without this person. I have a need to be with this person. I can see my future with this person, right? So the sex can happen without there being that emotional bond with the man. And usually it's not going to be there if he's cheating. He's thinking of it as, I do not want my lady to find out about this because it's just like a one-time thing. I just want to do it one time because she's so hot. I just need to do it one time. Nobody will ever know. I'll never tell nobody. It'll never have to happen again. So that's without emotion. He just wants the physical act to happen because of all those reasons I labeled. That's what's all going on. He don't know that some of those things are happening. It's a lot of it is subconscious, but it's what it is. He can't wait to tell his homeboys. He's not like proud in a way that he's proud that he's potentially like hurting somebody, like his woman, but he's proud to tell his homeboys because of those 4 reasons that I gave you. And his homeboys, they understand that because they can relate to those emotions. They can relate to those feelings. So when he says it, his homeboys ain't like, man, you should never do that to you're a disgrace. They're living vicariously through him now. They like, hey man, hey, you still seeing old girl? You still seeing old girl? What happened? What's up? Right? Again, not to be facetious or not to be mean or horrible people, but it's just what it is. Now, I have been that friend in my life to say, man, you sure it's worth it? Because men also have that capacity. You sure it's worth it? You sure it's worth messing up home? And the friend will say, no, man, I had to do it. Just like a person who sells drugs, like Biggie Smalls, on the beginning of Juicy said, yeah, the lady called the police on me when I was selling drugs because it's all I could do to feed my daughter because I had to sell drugs to feed my daughter. I hate that part because you never have to sell drugs to feed your kids. I was in those same circumstances that the dudes who came up with me, some of them said, yeah, I had to sell dope. Nah, I came up right alongside you and never sold a drug in my life. I'm not saying I'm a better person. I'm just saying you can't say you had to do that. Say you chose to do that. I chose to sell drug to feed my daughter. I can respect that. Okay, you made that decision. Okay, I respect that. I don't agree with it. I respect it though. You made the decision. All right, cool. You was willing to pay the consequence. I got you. So, same thing with cheating and okay, you was willing to make the sacrifice or to you willing to suffer the consequences. All right, do your thing then. So for women, it's like this. Because I know a lot of women can't understand why a man would cheat if you giving him what you think is everything. There's no such thing as everything. I know it's painful to hear that, but there's no such thing as you can be giving your man the best oral copulation that on earth, the best meal that a man can ever have in his life, the best validation and insurance that he would ever need. The one thing you can't give him, is somebody else. Because you're only you. Now, the women who can give him somebody else, the women who are polyamorous or in a relationship with more than one person, they can give him someone else. There's still a caveat. Men always want what they can't have. So you can be in a polyamorous relationship and she can say yes to these 10 women, but the one she said no about, that's the one you want. That's the one. That's the one I want right there. Babe, I'll give you all 10 of them other women, but no, I do not want you having that one. That's the one he gonna cheat with. Other ones are free. You letting him do whatever you want. He gonna want the one he can't. So you gonna risk it all for the one that you can't. The one I said no to. I don't want to risk it all. I want to do it in secret, but I do want to do it with the one that I can't have. That's the thought process. Women, here's and I'm talking to the women who like nice things, right? Who like to shop, right? Y'all know what Manolo Blahniks are, right? Or the Steve Maddens, right? Okay. They're very expensive shoes. Or let's say the Michael Kors or the Dolce & Gabbanas or the Coach, or let's say you have a pair of Manolo Blahniks, right? $4,000-$5,000 pair of shoes. You love them shoes. Love them, right? Let's say you had an opportunity to get another pair. Different color. It's still Manolo Blahniks though. You got the black ones. These the beige ones. You gonna get them shoes? I mean, yeah, you got one pair. But ain't nothing wrong with having another pair. Ain't nothing wrong with having another pair. Right? You will be happier having both of those than just the one. Especially if you can get the other pair free. Let's say they were having a sale. Buy one pair of Manolo Blahniks, get another pair free. You ain't never bought them in your life, but that day you're going to get them. You don't need them, but why not get them? Right? So it's this thing that men have, generally speaking, again. But ain't nothing, there's a saying, ain't nothing better than, that thing, except some new that thing. And that's such a true statement. And not all men live by that, but a large portion of men, your men too, that's the creed that they live under. Not purposely. Just it is what it is. There's a desire or a feel or a need for a man, generally speaking. It's a feeling he gets when he has that thing on the side. Because that one on the side usually looks at him like he's a hero. And all he's giving her is the sex. But that also means that all he's giving her is the good emotion, the laughs, the smiles. Because he's not at his capacity. There is nothing negative about her. She just wants him to take care of her physically. And something about that makes him feel really good and valued. Me, I used to think the best thing I could give a woman is, that. Like no matter what area I'm shy in, I'm not shy in that area. Like I do my thing, right? So a lot of men think that way. So if that's all I'm giving to you, ain't nobody else gonna give you what I can give you, right? And so you feel a lot of pride in that. You feel good about it because no matter how much money another man has, no matter how much of a good job, opportunity, or resources a man can offer you, I know ain't no man giving you better that than I can. It's how I feel. It's how a lot of men feel. A lot of them are wrong, but a lot of them feel that way. And so that's why men usually feel good about having an extramarital relationship. And that's why a lot of men cheat, because a lot of them don't be expecting to do that. They don't be expecting that they'll have something on the side because, they're married, and especially if their life hasn't involved a lot of that. See, mine has. I've been around, I've done a lot. I've been in music. I was in the music industry, and everything comes with the music industry. I was a rock and roll star, at least locally, and I was treated as such. So I've been through the rigmarole, the cheating, the being cheated on, the everything. I've been through all of that. So I've had that experience, and I know that the feelings, the four things that I've named to you, I know that they're fleeting. And I know that there is more that I have now in my marriage than something that's just fleeting. I know that you have an extramarital affair on the side, that desire and your needs being met. I know that that's fleeting. I know that that doesn't hold over forever because, as I stated before, men eventually need that emotional connection. And that person on the side, she's going to want an emotional connection. She's not just going to continue to want to be somebody who's used as a sexual object. And that's when the issues usually occur because that man starts to get bothered by her wanting more than just to be an object for sex. Now he's irritated at her when she's only being a natural woman who wants all the things that a woman wants. She's going to want that sooner than you, for the most part. And that's when men usually get irritated, and either she gets fed up and she blows up his spot, or she moves on and he moves on to the next one, and then he gets found out because now he's being sloppy. Like, all that happens. So I know that already. I've been through that in my life, like, several times. So I know how that I know how that turns out. And once you find a woman who can give you a lot of the things you need in life, because you're not going to get everything from anyone. So you have to stop depending on other people to give you things that you need in life to be happy. You have to be able to give you the things in life to be happy. That means anybody else that comes along is just a complement to your life. So that's the space I'm in. My wife is a complement to my life. I hope that I'm a complement to her life. I don't expect her to give me everything I need. And I hope her expectations are the same. I'm here to complement her life, to make it better in the ways that I can make it better. And hopefully it's by me being naturally me. Same vice versa. So until a man goes through some of those things, he won't be in the place I'm at, for instance. Most men will never get to live out their dreams like I did and be in the music industry or in the music business and having all these women like flock them and throw themselves at them. Like high caliber, top notch, beautiful women. Most men will never go through their life and have that type of environment. If they did, probably less of them will cheat later in life and be unfaithful. So if you've been a man who's been faithful your whole life, number one, that's probably because, again, you're not high value, or you haven't lived in an area where you had the opportunities. So later in life, if that changes, you're going to make the mistakes later, or you're going to make bad choices later. But if you've had that earlier in your life, I think it's less likely that you'll continue to make those same decisions. And they say once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't know how that can be true, though. You make the decisions to do the things that you do, just like you can make the decisions to not do the things you do. So this is why I think men cheat. All the reasons that I've just listed, I gave you some statistics, and I also gave you some of my life experience. Now, there are a variety of other reasons that, some men cheat. And there are a variety of men who won't ever fall into one of these categories. Opportunity is one of the biggest ones, though. If you're rural and you live out there way out in the suburbs where it takes 10 minutes to walk to the next house nearest to you, you have a good thing going. You might have a good thing going. Unless your man has to drive into work every day. Then I don't know. Yeah, some men, they've experienced it earlier in life. They don't want to keep making the same choices as they've made before. So that's where you get lucky. On the men who have cheated earlier in life before they got to you, and they've been through those consequences in those situations, and they know the value of having the right woman. Because even if you have the perfect woman, well, there's no such thing. Even if you have the woman that's closest to perfection of what you want, like I said before, that doesn't make you not want to do anything else. Because you just have to make the decision. And it's not one decision. It's not you have to make the decision every time you get an opportunity or put in position to have to make that decision. You can't just say, I'm never cheating, that's it. Because that doesn't work. You have to make the decision that I'm going to turn down the opportunity to cheat each time that it arises. That's what you have to do. If you want to be successful doing it, you have to be just like a drinker or a smoker. You just can't say, I'm not drinking for the rest of my life. I'm not smoking for the rest of my life. That's too cavalier. You have to say, each time the opportunity comes up for me to drink or smoke or cheat or have sex with somebody else or whatever, I'm going to rise to the occasion each time it happens. And then you take it from there. You take it one opportunity at a time. And you have to make that the reason that your ego is fulfilled. I made a decision 2 days ago to choose my wife. That feels good. That's giving me excitement. I chose her again. Yes, I chose her again. That has to be what it is. And until you do it wrong, it's very hard to do it right. So just remember, in a world that evolves in all ways, let your foundation be eternal love always. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I'm on the frequency. Until then, Eli, frequently. You looking good, man. How you doing?
I'm fine.
That's good. My name's CDN. What's your name?
My name's Hadilla.
It's a beautiful name, but I just call you Hot.
I guess you can.
So what would it take for a man like me to get with a woman as fine as you?
You really want to know what it takes to get with a girl like me?
For sure. Your gravity, bringing them strings. Yeah, let's add some emotion to this scene.